Alright, hey there, welcome back to Twin Stick Garage. My name's Mark, like to work on old cars and trucks. And back when I was in high school, my old automotive teacher, Mr. Willen, used to always tell me, he goes, Mark, doesn't matter how fast you go, you darn well better be able to stop. So today I'm going to be putting some Willwood brakes on the Bandit TransAM. It's amazing that 50 years later, all right, so you know how that old saying goes that no matter how big your shop is, you're inevitably going to fill it up? Well, that's very true, but it's also true that no matter how many overhead lights you put in your shop, there's always going to be spots where you can't see anything. So a few nights ago, I was walking through Cabela's Bass Pro Shop with the missus, and I thought, I need some more lights. So I picked up some cap lights, some flashlights, and I thought these were pretty cool. Check these out. These are little lanterns that give off LED light, and then they got hangers that you can hang. So if I can't see in a certain spot, I think these are really going to come in handy. So I'm looking forward to using those. And now I want to see what I got from Willwood Brakes. So I ordered all this stuff from Willwood Brakes, worked with them on gave them the dimensions of the car. I wanted to put on bright red 4-piston calipers, and we had to make sure that I wanted to retain the 15-inch standard snowflake wheels that go over top, because I didn't want to go to the 17s if I don't have to. So the great guys at Willwood helped me out there. I hopefully got the right calipers and the right setup. And I was thinking about it after I put the differential in, or the axles, and I put the C-clips and locked it in there. I was laying in bed going, I probably shouldn't have done that, because before I put the C-clips in, I got to pull the axles out to put the Willwood rear disc caliper mounts on there. So I'm going to have to undo or rework some of the work that I did last week to get that on there. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I actually worked for the last hour cleaning off my tables here, so I had a nice workspace. So I'll see kind of the goodies I got from Willwood. Oh, check that out. They gave me a nice Willwood shirt. That's definitely a going out shirt and not a shop shirt being white. It's going to get awfully dirty awfully quick. Oh, cool. Stainless steel braided flex line kit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got all the gear I need to put this on the car. At least I hope I do. What is this? Brake components. Leatherman, Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, Canada. Get yourself one of these if you don't have one. Okay, what's this? Do not drive on untested brakes. Well, that's good advice. Oh, this is the emergency brake line. Oh, that's fantastic, because I was actually looking at the old one going, am I going to have to reuse that old crusty one? Perfect. Oh, don't put the Leatherman away yet, Mark. Let's see what this cool stuff is. Yeah, I ordered all this stuff, wow, probably over a year ago. I guess I was a little optimistic on how quick I was going to get to work on the Trans Am, because I got a little distracted with the Pete. Oh, stickers. Who doesn't love stickers? Stickers and instructions. I'll definitely be reading those. Okay, what do we got here? A bunch of bolts. Oh, new brake shoes. Oh, yeah, boy. The Willwood bright red calipers. Man, look at those. Those are going to be cool. Peeking through the snowflake wheels. And what do I got here? Bracket kit, 12 bolt Chevy? Uh-oh. Am I 10 or 12 bolt? I might be dead in the water right out of the gate here. I thought mine's a 10 bolt. I guess we'll see. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about here. So this is the mounting bracket that goes behind the axle. So I got to take the axle out, bolt this onto the axle tube, and then put the axle back in. Hopefully that fits. I wonder if 10 and 12 bolt are the same. Guess we're going to find out. And then what else we got here? This is why I cleaned off my tables, because I knew I was going to take up a lot of space putting all this stuff out. Oh yeah, boy. These are the discs. Cool. Yeah, so when Mrs. Sticks is really giving her down the road and hard on the brakes, it's got cooling holes in there as well. Man, that's some nice stuff. Oh, check that out. Oh yeah, look at that. Brand new hub. And even put the race in there for me. Sweet. Okay, well I'll finish unpacking all this gear here and read some of the instructions and then try and figure out where all this stuff goes. Okay, so I spent a little time laying everything out and I went inside and I actually printed out the assembly instructions. And I have to say Willwood's actually got it set up pretty slick. So what they'll do is they'll send you an invoice of all the stuff that you ordered and it'll be on PDF and you just click the link of each part number. It'll take you to the Willwood website and you just scroll down to the bottom and then there's assembly instructions. You just print those out. So I got front brakes, rear brakes, a proportioning valve, a bunch of other stuff. And I've been reading through it and kind of doing an inventory of all the stuff I got here. And I think I'm going to tackle the front brakes first because there's a little bit of assembly there and I've actually got to do a bit of work because I've got the original spindles and I actually ordered these brand new 2-inch drop spindles because you got to do one of two things. You can either modify your existing standard F-body spindles or you can just order theirs. The reason I ordered theirs is because obviously it's easier to install because there's a bracket that goes on. This guy here, this bracket goes on and it holds the caliper so you don't have to drill holes or do any cutting to your original spindle. But the other benefit is it's a 2-inch drop. So I got a 2-inch, I think I got 1.5-inch drop in the back with the new leafs and it'll be a 2-inch drop in the front. So there'll still be a little bit of rake on the car, but it'll be sitting lower to the ground, which I think is going to look mint. So I got to actually install these on there. But first, I thought what I might do is tackle the assembly of the front brake calipers. So it's kind of like IKEA furniture. There's some assembly required, but the instructions are very well laid out, kind of step by step, good guides. So first step, what I wanted to do was to put in so here's the front hub, and what you need to do is put on these wheel studs. So you basically zip them in and there's two different lug patterns. There's 5x4.5 and 5x4.75. So I'm the larger one, so you just basically pick the 5 holes that are machined out a little farther and you zip the little lug nuts in there, not the lug nuts, the wheel studs. And then they need to be torqued to 75 foot-pounds. So you really got to follow your torque specs because, I mean, this is serious stuff. This is brakes. You don't want to be messing around and have anything come apart on you because it would be a bad time. So you want to follow the instructions. You want to torque everything. There's also a lot of use of red Loctite. Oh, wrong way, Mark. Now they don't call for red Loctite on these guys. I think because they're being held with the lug nuts torqued from the outside, so they're not gonna turn on you. And speaking of wheels, so the way I thought I would actually torque these guys up is to actually get one of the wheels. So when I bought this Trans Am, of course it's got the Corvette 15-inch wheels on there, which are not movie correct. But I did talk the guy out of selling me the snowflake rims. So these would be movie correct. Now I still need to take them to the powder coater and get all the gold sprayed on inside all of the snowflake to make it movie correct. But they'll work for now. What I was thinking I could do is just set these guys in here like so, and then torque it up. They want to see 77 foot-pounds on each. So what do I got here? 77, close enough. Poof. It's a bit of a pull. I don't know how you do this, trying to hold the hub on the bench without a wheel to set it in. I got this new beeping torque wrench, and it's kind of cool because it tells you when you're getting close. But there's nothing more satisfying than the click of an old school torque wrench. There we go. Now I'll save the wheel for later in the episode because I'm still not sure if the diameter, I did some quick measurements here when I ordered all this gear, and it should fit with the 4-piston calipers underneath in here. But if it doesn't, like I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna have to go to 17-inch rims, which would still look cool, but then I gotta get new tires and new rubber, new wheels and new rubber. And it wouldn't be movie correct, but it's not like this car is gonna be perfectly movie correct anyway. It's more of a tribute. Cool, okay. So, next step is the rotors have to be mounted to these drums. So these guys basically go ribbed up, and then there's two ways these can go. There's a recessed and then a flush. So the flush goes down, and then there's 8 little torque screws. Now they come with everything, and they actually tell you, they give you good instructions: bolt kit, adapter, rotor, and there's 16, so these are the right guys for this. And these guys want red Loctite on there, because it would be a bad day if these came loose. So of course the red Loctite differs from the blue. I believe red needs heat to back it out once it fully cures. And then what do these guys need to be torqued to? Red Loctite, 25 foot-pounds. So I'll finish putting these on there and torque that up. That should do it. You want to make sure these guys are torqued down. You're going to have quite a vibration in your front end if they're not. But I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of these Torx heads, just because they can, the bit can pop out so easily. It's not a very deep slot that it sits in. There, I think that's all of them. There we go. Okay. So now next up is to bolt it to the hub. So it goes like that. And there's packs of 5 bolts. And these are a little larger. And again, they want red Loctite. And they want it torqued to 45 foot-pounds. So I'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, I find putting it in the wheel works nice so it doesn't jump around on the bench. And then I can put my boiler on the torque wrench to make sure it stays engaged in these silly torque head deals. Okay, done. Now, I noticed I was getting a little ambitious with the red Loctite. Don't be stingy on the vino. Well, I suppose if some is good, more is better. Again, don't want those guys coming out of there. Okay, so next up is greasing the bearings and putting those in there. Moon River.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay. Now I just picked up some Lucas grease. I mean, I could probably use the grease that I normally use on the trucks. They say you're supposed to have, is that already open? They say you're supposed to have wheel bearing disc brake grease, but I think as long as it's high temp, it should be adequate. After working on the semi trucks, I just get such a kick out of the equivalent stuff like U-joints and bearings for cars. If you look at this, it's like a little ring, just tiny. Okay. And the best way to do this is just put a ball of grease in your palm and you just kind of press it in. And what you're trying to do is press the grease through the race until you see it kind of pop out on the top there. And it's best to take a little bit of time with that because you want to make sure the grease goes all the way through. So I don't know if you can see it there, but it actually starts popping through on the top. That's what you want. You just keep working your way all the way around the bearing. Back when I was in high school in automotives, that would have been in the early 90s. They didn't have all the safety stuff. I mean, they were getting there, but I don't remember ever wearing rubber gloves. We would just bare hands, just raw dog in the grease. Sure they're adequately packed. And then I can install the inner bearings and then bang in the seals to hold them in there. Now it never hurts to put a little bit of grease inside the hub and on the race as well. Now to put the races in, normally I would just set them on there and hammer them in, but I do have a bearing and race tool that I use when I rebuilt the diff, so I thought, why not use it? It just pushes down a little more evenly and squarely. I mean, you could use a 2x4 too. So essentially you just make sure that the flat side is out with the writing and the numbers, and you just give it a little up tap. Till the sound changes and you know it's seated. Beauty. Now, put the inner bearing in, get grease all over my fingers. Oh, I took the gloves off. We'll go old school. That's because I don't feel like grabbing another pair of gloves. Again, put some grease on that inner race and then set that guy in there. And then for now, I'm just going to put the cap on just to hold it in there. Now obviously I'll take the cap off when I go to push it on the spindle, because I got to put the lock nut on there, this special washer, and then the cotter pin to hold it on there. But this guy is done and ready to install. So I'll do the same to this one, and then I will start tackling putting those new spindles on there. Okay, let's raise this up. Close the discharge. There, that should be enough. Now, of course, that coilover spring has got a bit of energy, so you want to make sure, like I say, that you're compressing it, because otherwise, if this lets go, I guess the top's not going to go anywhere, but it's going to swing this lower control arm out in a hurry. Now, it's kind of captured by the frame, so it's not like it's going to come springing out at me, but either way, you want to make sure you're being safe with this particular task. Now, I didn't have cotter pins on here because, again, I knew this guy was going to go out of here. Okay. Okay, now I can slowly release the pressure and it'll release and lower this out, and then I can get this guy out of here. There it goes. See, that's why you want it controlled. Okay, something like that should do. And then I can get this guy off here. Where's my gentle persuasion device? Oh, did you stick in there? Uh-oh, I might need to get the ball joint remover. So I gotta bring out the old pickle fork tool. And I wanna be careful because these are new in here. So this guy just goes in here and separates it. But I don't wanna rip that new rubber boot. Come on. Wow, that really seated on there. Shit. Okay, that's being stubborn. So what I'm going to do is raise this up, attach the top on. I'm going to use a little bit of mechanical advantage. We'll use the tension of the spring to help me out. Let that be a lesson to you. If you're building your Trans Am at home, don't do rework like old twin sticks. Learn from me. And don't assemble everything until you get your new drop spindles from Willwood. Okay, so now, see if I can get the bottom one to come out. Oh, that's the wrong way, Mark. Yeah, that's loose now, okay. Well, now I'll try the pickle fork. There it goes. Work smarter, not harder. Okay, now I can release the top one and take the spindle off of here. Again, slow and steady in a controlled fashion. That should do. Okay, one old spindle, and here's the new one. Sweet. I'll raise it up again. There she goes. Now I had to go back to the old QA1 instructions. Now the upper wants 55 foot-pounds and the lower wants 65. Okay, take the jack away. Actually, well, I can lift it up again after it's torqued down because I'm going to have to lift it in order to get the sway bar put in there. One thing at a time, Mark. One thing at a time. Okay. There we go. Almost 55. Stay alive. Now, what do I got for cotter pins? Am I gonna get the spot? Yeah. There we go. Now, if the cotter pin doesn't line up, then what you want to do is you want to go a little bit tighter. You never want to go looser, so I might go a little touch tighter in order to get the cotter pin in there. Now in hindsight, I probably should have turned, before I tightened everything up, I should have gave the stud in the ball joint a little turn so the holes were going sideways. Because right now, these guys are both pointed right at the back, which makes it a little tricky to put the cotter pin in. Oh well, live and learn. I'll do it on the next side. There we go, come on. Okay, that's looking sharp. Now, that's what I'll do is compress the bag again, or fill the bag, and see if I can't get the upper sway bar to reach the little bolted stem there. All right, so next up I got to put on this this bracket that holds the caliper. So they got pretty clear instructions on there to put it on dry to test fit, because there's these shims, which are basically just fancy 35 thou washers. And I'm supposed to put two, one on each to start. So you're just basically trying to see where the caliper is going to sit on the rotor. So that's why they just want it dry. Eventually these will get red Loctite. But just in case, you got to go back and add more shims to move the caliper either outward or inward to get it centered over the rotor. So I'll just put this on here, tighten these guys up, or snug them up. And then I guess I got to put the rotor on next. Man, that looks good. Okay, there's a little washer with a tang in there that goes in the slot. Now there's a lot of school of thought on how to set wheel bearings. My buddy Peg, all he does is he tightens it up as he's turning it, and then he backs off a quarter turn. So I'm going to try that, but I will follow up. They say you want at least 1 to 7 thou of end play. And you want to kind of get this right, because you don't want to cook a bearing on the front and have your wheel fall off when you're zipping down the highway. Okay. And then I'll go a quarter turn out, and we'll see what that's doing. All right, I'll set up my dial indicator and see what kind of end play I got. Now, a lot of people probably don't go through the trouble of setting a dial gauge on there. I wonder if I can turn this so you can see it. But it's always good to get a confirmation on your wheel bearing end play. Too tight and you'll cook the bearing, and too loose and you'll have the thing come off on the highway. There, let's see here. No, that's a little too tight. There's 0. Yeah, I see about 2 thou, 2 to 3. That should be good there. Now, is my cotter pin going to line up? Not quite, I'll go just a little tighter. There, perfect. All right, and then I'll put the little dust cover cap, and there's a rubber O-ring in there that actually keeps it on the rotor. There, good and tight. Oh, that is sweet. Okay, next up, clean the grease from my fingers and put on the caliper. Okay, so for initial assessment, they say put 2 shims on each post to kind of get a sense of where this thing's going to sit. And then it goes over like so. Oh man, that looks sexy. Okay. Oh, beauty. Okay, so what we're looking for here is the center line between these two inserts needs to be the center line of the rotor. Or said another way, an equal spacing between here and here, which is pretty darn close. Yeah, that's actually not looking too bad. Right where it is. Wonder if there's a way to measure. Maybe what I'll do is a vernier and just see how close it is. And if it is centered, if 35 thou is going to move it too far one way or the other. So I'll take an exact measurement, but I think that's looking pretty darn good. Looks pretty even to me. Yeah, it's kind of tough to get in and measure, but what I did was I got a little 3/32 drill bit, and it just fits on both sides. Not snug, but just fits. So I think that's pretty even, because if I put another 35 thou shim, I'm going to go too far one way or the other. So I'm happy with that. So what I'll do is back those bolts out, and then what does it say? Apply red Loctite and torque to 40 foot-pounds. Every square inch of flat space becomes a workbench. It's hilarious how that works. Okay, now put in some brake pads. So double check the numbers. The 9136Ks are the fronts. I'm guessing these little rods. Yeah, okay, so how does this come out of here? Well, that's pretty intricate. All right, so basically I gotta take this pin out, and it'll allow me to lift this up and then slide these rods out. And the rods are what hold the brake shoes on there. See those little corresponding holes? So figure out what size Allen head that is. Ah, don't drop it, Mark. It's too nice. There we go. Brake shoes in. Now I'll just put that threaded rod back down there, tighten that up, and throw this back on and see how it looks. Now, this is the port for the brake line. I do have a full set of stainless steel brake line, a full kit for the 1980 F body that I ordered from Summit. So I guess I'll have to put that on in a future episode and then connect up all the lines. And then there'll be a little NPT fitting that goes in here, and the line will just connect right in. And then of course bleed all the brakes. Oh, beauty, Clark. Beauty. Man, that's sitting nice too. Almost perfectly even with the top of the rotor. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. 30. Done. Okay, moment of truth. Well, I'll put this steering rod back on there. We'll throw that 15 on. If I can get this in. There we go. And see if it's gonna clear. Man, I sure hope so. And that Willwood caliper and rotor looks so sharp, it's almost a shame to cover it with these wheels. Oh, it actually fits and clears. Oh, what a treat. What a treat. Looks like we get to keep 15-inch Bandit rims on this car. Come on. Or are these a different thread? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. No, they can't be. Really? I need different lug nuts? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, well, that's a bummer, man. I guess I need different lug nuts. They're a larger size than the original. But that sits on there nice. And I can see, here, I'll show you in the camera. Oh, doesn't that look cool? The Willwood's kind of subtle, just peeking through the back there. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of clearance. You can see a good 1/4 inch, I'd say, to the wheel. So that is gonna be sharp. Oh, no, sir. You just apprehended my captain. So I didn't get quite as lucky on this side. The caliper was shifted over slightly. So I figure one more shim, upper and lower here, will bring it back that 35 thou, and then I should be centered. Okay. Manifest. 96 miles an hour? I didn't know this truck could do 96 miles an hour. Oh, that's looking much better. Nice and centered. Here, let me show you. Focus. Yeah, so this guy is right in the center, and there's an equal spacing on both sides. This little silver part there between the caliper. Nice. Well, struggling here with the back. What ended up happening was this cool little drum brake setup that actually goes inside the rotor. This is actually a drum parking brake, and then of course a disc brake for daily driving. But this guy wouldn't fit over the shoulder. There's a little raised edge there, you can see. And so when I do the measurement of it, it's 2.8 and change. And then the measurement of this guy on the inside is actually 2.7. So I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? So I took a look at the instructions, and I just assumed that this, when I ordered this, I think I know what happened. I just assumed it was a standard 12 bolt, which is a 0.27 flange registration. But this is actually the 0.28. So this looks like it came from a 93 to 2002 Camaro, which obviously this car isn't. So the only thing I can figure out is somewhere along the way, a previous owner swapped out this differential. Maybe they blew out the original 10 bolt and then just went to a wrecker and grabbed one off a late model Camaro and threw it in here, because that's the only way this could have happened. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to put the back brakes together today, because I'm going to have to order a different size. Now, hopefully, I don't know if I can just get this a new plate with the larger cutout and then just bolt all these pieces on there. I have to believe you can, because it's all just bolted together. So I'll reach out to Willwood and get the larger opening. But that's a good lesson for all of us, that don't just assume that it's a standard. It's a standard. Well, don't make assumptions about anything. You know what they say about assumptions? It's the mother of all F-ups. And in this case, that stands true. So take your measurements, take the old plates off, and measure everything, the distance between the holes, and make sure that you're going to get the right pieces to fit on your car. I guess that's the lesson I'm trying to say. Well, I guess that's about as far as I can go today. I just, until I get those new parts, I can't finish up the back brakes. But I have to say, man, do these Willwoods ever look mint on the front. And if you're willing to follow instructions and take it step by step, take your time, it's real easy to install. And my old high school automotive teacher would be proud. There you go, Mr. Willen. The car's gonna go fast, but I'll be able to stop even faster. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks again for following along. Appreciate all the support. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. And like I always say, don't ever forget, if you got it, truckers brought it.